back to another edition of Scientific Connections Project Geeta. Today, we'll be discussing positive psychology. It's work done by Professor Seligman. Professor Seligman was a former president of the American Psychological Association. A few years ago, he gave a TED talk on the new era of positive psychology. He talks about the way psychology has evolved. Even 10, 15 years ago, psychology was about finding what's wrong with you. He calls his model the disease model. Now things are different. Again, put this in a context. 60 odd years ago, most of the disorders were untreatable. Today, 14 are treatable and 2 are curable. I want to mention 2 victories of the disease model. 14 of the disorders are treatable, and most important, a science of mental illness was developed. And thanks to those treatments, we can now make people less miserable. That is definitely a good thing, no doubt about it. But what was not good? The consequences of the science. What do I mean by that? Psychologists and psychiatrists became victimologists and pathologizers. That is, people who had these disorders were just helpless victims. That was a mentality that scientists and psychologists had. And psychologists forgot about personal responsibility. They forgot that people made choices and decisions. And psychologists forgot about making normal or untroubled people happier. And also they forgot to enable them to see their own talents and inborn capabilities. So this is where the Gita comes in. I'll mention that in a bit later, okay? In the rush to do repair work, therefore, these psychologists and psychiatrists forgot to work on improving the quality of normal people's lives. That is, they forgot about positive psychology. Now, positive psychology works on these premises. First, be concerned with strengths as well as weaknesses. Second, build the best things in addition to repairing damages caused by the worst part of the psyche. And third, make lives of normal people more fulfilling. How do you do that? Create the opposite of the diagnostic manual of insanity. Okay? So if you look at the messages of the Gita, this is exactly what the Gita does. Professor Seligman has written a book on authentic happiness. If you're interested, you can go to the website. It's called AuthenticHappiness.org. But what we are focusing right now is not that. Our focus is how we can use the Gita, the messages of the Gita, and make our lives happier. Research now shows that the happiest people in the world, as much as the most miserable people, differ from the majority of the people. The happiest people are extremely social. So this last piece, being social, being connected with other people, this last piece is what I want to tie in with our discussion previously of loving kindness and empathy, because only those who can empathize can socialize effectively. When I say socialize, I don't just mean partying all the time and having a nice time. That's not what socializing means. Identifying with the rest of the world, even the rest of the universe, is key here. And there's no other book in my knowledge that expounds on this idea more than the Gita. Thank you very much. Next time, we'll elaborate more on this aspect of positive psychology, and we'll talk about 3 kinds of lives that you can lead.